Welcome back, familiar to Northside LDN. You already know what time it is. And today, we've got a lot of news surrounding Arsenal Football Club. So make sure you stay tuned straight till the end. And later on, we will be talking about what my last thoughts on Arsenal's last match against who was it against again? I've already forgot. It was that bad of a performance that I've already forgot who we beat. But it's absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. Arsenal's last performance for me, literally, my head just gone blank for a minute. But we got a lot of news. We got PSG in for Saliba, and we're going to get into that. Obviously, Arsenal's performance against Leeds wasn't what I wanted it to be, and we definitely, if this club definitely backs this manager and backs this process and backs these players, then we're going to have to assist this manager in the January transfer window and get in players that we need to have rotation, that we need to strengthen the team and the squad. Because one thing, the performance and the mentality has definitely gone up at Arsenal, but the squad is still very light. And not only do we need to strengthen, we also need to keep the vultures away from our best players. And one of the best players at Arsenal with a link away is Saliba. Our best centre-back for me, without a shadow of a doubt, our best centre-back, Saliba. There's links with PSG being interested in Saliba. Now, Saliba only has 2 years left on his contract. He's not the only player that has 2 years left on his contract that needs to sign a new deal. Obviously, Martinelli and Saka also need to sign a new deal. The club are saying that we're on way to getting them to sign those contracts. But Saliba, for me, has been a revelation at Arsenal. I cut him a lot of slack against Leeds because I felt like Saliba's only just come to Arsenal. He's not even had a season yet, a full season at Arsenal starting. He's been out on loan ever since he's been here. But from what I have seen on him, overall, he's been very, very good. And in the makings, he definitely has the ability to become one of the best centre-backs in the world. Now, PSG are seeing that he's got 2 years left on his contract. They must have seen also his performances for Marseille and his time over there, getting Young Player of the Year. Very highly touted over there in Ligue 1 in his time at Marseille. And they're looking like they're scouting and watching him. It says here, Arsenal risk losing William Saliba as they struggle to get him on a new contract. And it goes on to talk about his time at Marseille. Obviously, PSG is a big draw. Obviously, they win titles and the cups like it's nothing almost every year. So you're bound to get trophies. They're a team that's ready to compete now. Yes, they have not added to the Champions League, but obviously any player would want to go and play with Neymar, play with Messi, play with Mbappe. You know, they got players, world-class players that any player would want to go play besides. And obviously they're looking decent this season. And I think that this is the problem. We need to get this over the line. We need to make sure that we sign Saliba down. When you're looking at PSG and you're looking at the centre-backs that they've got Marquinhos. They sometimes play also Ramos is there as well. They play Pereira. Sometimes they play in a back three. Sometimes they play in a two. Now, I've never seen Saliba play in a three. But if they're playing on a two, you would think that Marquinhos and Ramos would be the starters. But Ramos, the best years he gave to Real Madrid, let's just be honest. He's still a top-class centre-back, but he gave his best years to Real Madrid. Let's not make... You know, there's not even a shadow of a doubt about that. Pereira, he's obviously a CDM, but sometimes they play him as a centre-back. Even for Portugal, sometimes he plays as a centre-back. You would say if they take Saliba to PSG, they would rather Saliba at the back, in a back three, over Pereira. Not that I'm saying Pereira's trash, but this is the problem, and this is why Arsenal need to keep showing ambition. We have to keep going out there and getting top-class players. We need to keep improving. We can't just rest on our laurels and say we're top of the league. The season ain't over. We're not even halfway through the season yet. And to keep our best young players and to not allow these clubs like PSG to prize away our best young players. So listen, right now it's only rumours, but when you're looking at their centre-back options, I can see why PSG would be interested in Saliba. Obviously, he's French. He played very well. He's shown that he can perform in that league in an inferior squad at Marseille. Marquinhos isn't that young. What's he? 31, 32. You got Ramos as well. How old's Ramos now? 33, something like that. You know, they're not going to carry on forever. And you can see that they would need an evolution in that team. So, listen, Saliba apparently being linked to PSG. What do you make about the rumours? Do you think he's going? Do you think he'll sign the contract? He's definitely a player that I want to keep. He's definitely a player that I'm expecting to sign the contract. And yeah, a lot of these players, you know, Saliba, Martinelli, and Saka, these are players that I'm expecting them to sign the thing. And I want to hear, you know, not only them signing the thing, but we also need to go out there and strengthen this squad. Because when you're looking at the squad, and I've said it before, when the starting 11 ain't doing their job, there's not much that comes off the bench to affect the game. We saw it against Man United, and we also saw it against Leeds. Nketiah's coming off the bench, not doing anything. VIDS coming off the bench, not really affecting the game. You know, you got Rob Holding coming on. I mean, it's not good enough. It's not filling me with a lot of hope. And last season, the problem was Arsenal had a good starting 11, but we also had a poor bench. This season, it's the same old problem. We weren't able to keep up the good run that we had last season, even with 10 games to go to get top 4. This season, I fear if in January we do the same thing and the club comes out with, you know, there's no quality in the market, I fear us going through the same bucadia. So listen, Edu, Arteta, and the Cronkies, get your finger out your ass, go get the players that we need. We need to address the midfield. We need rotation for our wingers. We also need another striker because Eddie Nketiah coming off the bench isn't good enough. And I don't think anyone can even debate that. It's absolutely uma bucaria. It's diabolical, the fact that we even gave him the number 14 and 100k a week. We need to strengthen. But the first thing we need to do is tie down our best players, and Saliba is definitely one of them. I don't want to see him going to PSG. I don't want to see him getting linked to all these clubs. And the easiest thing that we can do is just sign him down to the contract. Once you sign him down on the contract, but all the rumours finish. That's all we need to do. We should be talking with them right now, getting them over the line. Saliba has to stay at Arsenal, in my opinion. And yeah, long may it continue. This kid has got a high ceiling. We need to actually add to our centre-backs, because when you're looking at Gabriel, too many mistakes, and we've been giving him, you know, the benefit of the doubt for a couple of games. I thought because, you know, he was next to Ben White, who was very problematic last season as a centre-back that I don't necessarily rate. I think he's, you know, a lot of times his lapses in concentration I don't really rate. But now he's next to Saliba, and Saliba, you know, barring the Leeds game, I don't really think he's put a foot wrong, really. I think he's done really well, you know, but it is what it is. Sign Saliba down. Hopefully Arsenal go out there, sign Saliba down to an extended contract and go and get another centre-back, because Rob Holding ain't good enough. Tomiyasu, I don't think he's good enough to be our main centre-back, maybe decent as a rotation. And Gabriel definitely isn't good enough to be our main centre-back. So that's what I want to see. On to the next headline. Big spending Chelsea take aim at disturbing Arsenal contract talks. Once again, another player that we need to sign down to the team, that we need to get over the line to stop all these rumours. Otherwise, they will continue. Bukayo Saka, definitely another player that's got a very high ceiling at Arsenal. Another player that I really like. Another player that we still haven't seen the best of in terms of in a 90 minutes. But even with his performances not being up there for 90 minutes, he's still getting goals and assists. And he's definitely a player I want to keep at Arsenal. He's got a high ceiling. Like Martinelli, he's been scouted by Liverpool, Man City. A lot of the top teams are looking at Saka. They see the ability. They see what he does for England as well. The kid has got a really high ceiling. But one thing that we've seen that's been a problem this season, that is also a problem from last season that we did not address, is when he's not in form or when he's tired, we don't have anyone off the bench to come and give him adequate competition. Now, we've got Marquinhos, but we already know that Marquinhos ain't ready yet. He's not ready. Definitely a player that is one for the future. I'm not saying he's trash. You know, he played very well against Zurich, was the only player that I felt played well against Zurich, you know, in Marquinhos, but he's not ready to compete yet up against Bukayo Saka. We need to go out. Not only do we need to tie Saka down to a deal, we need to also go out there and buy another player. Pedro Neto or Mudryk or whatever. But we need to address that. You know, we went for Rafinha last season and then we kind of just thought, okay, well, Rafinha ain't coming. You know, he'd rather go to Chelsea or to Barcelona over us. Ultimately went to Chelsea, and we didn't address getting in another winger. We need rotation for both Marquinhos and Saka. And when I mean rotation, I'm talking about a player that is as good, if not better. Because these guys they need competition. They need competition. And we can't be dropping off the levels like we have been when we are rotating the squad. When we rotate the squad against Zurich, the second game against Bodo, you start to see the lack of quality on the bench. You know, there's one thing having rotation. We've had rotation for years. We had rotation when we had David Silva. We had rotation when we had Pablo Mari. We had rotation when we had, You know, when we had Lacazette, were they quality players, quality rotation? You know, all this about, oh, they can do a job. No, we need better than what we have, because what we have right now, dare I say, the starting 11 still ain't good enough to win the league, in my opinion. So we need to go out and get better. That's how you strengthen your team. You don't go get players that are worse than your starting 11, and your starting 11 isn't even the best in the league, because it's not. So that's how I feel like we should be building the team. Bukayo Saka needs to be tied down. I don't want him going over to Chelsea, you know, but like I said, unless we get the thing signed, these rumors will continue. We need to get him tied down to Arsenal. He is an asset, and not only is an asset, he's a top player. Now, with 2 years to go, we need to tie him up now, because we already know what problems we've had before, where 2 years to go, we don't get the contract signed, we let it run down to another year, and then all of a sudden, all the power is with the player. We need to now sign Saka down, sign Martinelli down, sign William Saliba down, or face a repetition of the past. And that is player power, where the player now dictates to us what they're going to do, where they're going to go. I don't understand why every day I keep seeing news about Saka's contract, Martinelli contract, William Saliba contract, and it's not over the line. I don't think it's that hard. Sit down with him, yeah, and at the end of the day, give him a fair contract, give him a fair price. Of course, don't put him on something stupidly astronomical and dumb like we did with Ozil, but give him what he's worth. And Saka has been one of our best players in the last 2 to 3 years. Very, very good player, very consistent, you know, and is overperforming. Martinelli is another one. William Saliba is another one. You have to pay them adequately. I don't know what is holding up these contract talks, because apparently we have been in contract talks. I don't know what is going, because I'm not seeing any progression. We need to tie them down. That is the minimum, the absolute minimum. And if people want me to change my tune about my club and the way that I feel about my club, then prove me wrong by signing these players down, and in January going out there and addressing areas in this squad that actually needed to be addressed last January. Let's be real, you know. They threw away the January transfer window last time, Caramba. Don't do it this time. I don't want to hear no excuses. We all clearly know what we need. Mikel Arteta, to give him praise, he's performing very, very well. I didn't think that we would be in this position at this point in the season. Let's keep it real. I'll be real. Now keep it up to the end of the season. This with this form in terms of results, we'll win the league. If we win the league, I'll come out and I'll say I was wrong about Mikel Arteta. Listen, I don't care about being right or being wrong at the end of the day. I judge on what I see. And at the end of the day, if he produces, then I don't care about being in the mud and you're wrong. I don't care. If Arsenal are winning leagues, I don't care. If Arsenal winning Champions League, I don't care, caramba. That's all I care about. All I care about is this club lifting trophies. That is it. And obtaining the high standards that I grew up seeing. That's all I care about. Bukayo Saka, I think it goes without saying we all want him to sign the team. Now, Arsenal transfer target asking price likely to have risen as high as 65 million euros, says Fabrizio Romano. Now, this guy, we've been linked with this guy a lot. I think he's been performing very well in the Champions League of what I've seen from him. And, you know, Fabrizio Romano says here, I continue to enjoy watching the development of Mudryk. His performances in the Champions League this season have been amazing. And I agree. He's been doing very, very well for Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League. And he's definitely a player. Listen, if we're gonna go for him, just go for him. You know what I mean? If this is a player that the club really wants, just go for him. We need rotation. Would I say he's my first choice? No, he's not my first choice. I'd rather go out there and get Zaha. I'd rather go out there and get someone like Pedro Neto. I'd rather go and get these kind of wingers that I know are already Premier League proven. We've already brought in some players that are not Premier League proven, and you see that you need to give them time. Fabio Vieira, I've not been impressed with him, but he needs time. Not everyone's going to come to the Premier League and hit the ground running like the way Saliba has. You know, a lot of players take time. Even some of the best players take time to adjust to this league. You know, so at the end of the day, I understand that, but we need to go out there and get him over the line, because we definitely need another winger. We need some rotation. We cannot be relying like last season and not learn from our mistakes and just rely on Martinelli and Saka. That Bukaria cannot happen, please. We need to go out there and get this guy. You know what I mean? If this is the guy that they want. If this is the guy that they want, go out there and get him before other clubs start looking at him. Because what happens is this. If Arsenal diver and they're uncertain about who their targets are, what happens is other clubs lose out on their targets, or they can't get the target, or the selling club don't want to sell other wingers that they want, then they start shifting their attention to players that Arsenal are looking at because they may be a bit further down in their pecking order. Clubs like maybe a Liverpool or Man City or whatever. We've seen this before where we don't go in for the player. We were supposedly going in for Basuma. We were dragging our feet. I don't know what Pukaria Edu was doing. I don't know what Arteta was doing. We dragged our feet. And then Tottenham come in and get the player. Now, some may argue we're never in for the player. And if we wasn't in for the player, I'll tell you why not. Why weren't we? Because look at the position. Look at what happened. At the end of the day, then it ain't good enough. Let's just keep it real. So at the end of the day, I don't want to see us dragging our feet. Let's get our business nice and early. If this is a player that we want, go and get him. Now, do I watch Shakhtar Donetsk every week? No, I don't. Do I watch them? No, unless they're playing on Champions League, I don't watch them. I've seen him. He looks like a tidy player, technically gifted. He looks like he can find the back of the net. So, if this is a player that we want, go out there and get him. Arsenal are not a club that likes to be in a bidding war. So because we're not in a bidding war, we need to identify our targets and go in for them early, not dragging our feet and wasting time. So listen, Mudryk, let me know if you guys would want Mudryk at Arsenal. Is he a player that we should go out there and get? Do you think 65 million euros is too much? What's that? Probably 55 million pounds. Like I said, I think with that money, you could get players that can hit the ground running, players that are a bit more proven, like a Zaha, in my opinion. But listen, maybe he is the next up-and-coming player, and it is what it is. I don't know. The thing is, I feel like when you're scouting players, it's good to have a mixture of players that have done it in the Premier League and players that don't. We bought Gabriel Jesus. He's hit the ground running. We got Zinchenko, hit the ground running. That is the bonus sometimes when you get players that are already in this league. They know the league. There's no adaptation period. All they need to do is learn the way that Arsenal want to play football. Now, I ain't going to say this guy is trash. I don't see him enough. You know what I mean? But he's been performing in the Champions League. And, if we can get a reasonable price, I don't mind us going out and getting him. Do you know what I mean? But we need to be addressing the areas of this squad that need to be addressed. Because if you're either in support of this system, or you're supportive of Mikel Arteta, you think he's the man, then we all, as a fan base, need to be applying pressure to this club to go out there and get Mikel Arteta the players that he needs. Because he definitely doesn't have the squad to sustain this the how well we've been doing so far this season. We don't have the squad, and we've seen it in numerous games. So we need to go out there and get some players in to help Mikel Arteta. If they really believe in him, that's what needs to be done. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it 100. And Premier League star admits Arsenal is his first love. Crystal Palace star Eze has spoken about beginning life as a football player. And he reveals Arsenal made him fall in love with the game. The attacker is one of the brightest players at Palace, now where he's developing his career, but first burst into the scene as a player of QPR, which he earned his move to Palace. Let's go down to what he says. Asked about the game that made him fall in love, he told Football Focus, Arsenal game when I was younger, when they were away in the maroon kit, Henry was playing, Van Persie as well. I was like, this is what I want to be doing. This is where I want to be. Just seeing the energy in that place, it was just everything. Now, Eze is a baller. I would definitely take this guy. I would definitely 1 billion% take Eze at Arsenal. He's a baller. And I'm not just saying this because he said this. I think it was like 2-3 games ago for Palace. He slapped it in. Like, my guy went round 2-3 players and just slapped it bottom corner. Like, this guy has been a baller. Do you know what I mean? And he's definitely a player that I like. When he's on the ball, he's energetic. He goes forward. He asks questions of defenses. Technically, a very tidy player. I'd go out and get him. And maybe because they got Patrick Vieira there, maybe we could do a little deal. Patrick Vieira, obviously an Arsenal legend. Maybe we can talk to him and negotiate something. Listen, we'll compensate you decently for Eze, but we need rotation. You know what I mean? And he's definitely a player that I would love to see at Arsenal. Obviously, he is an Arsenal fan. And Arsenal is a step up from Crystal Palace. These are the kind of things that I want to see from Arsenal. Eze, Ivan Toney, Pedro Neto, Zaha. Go out and get very good players that are at clubs, with all due respect, that are inferior to Arsenal. They're not as big. They're not as big. They can't offer as much wages. You know what I mean? And they haven't got the status. And, at the end of the day, yes, we don't have Champions League, but should be a given. This is why I was upset that we didn't go get a Basuma. It should be easy to prize away a Basuma from Brighton. You know, it should be easy to go there and go to Paulinho, even though he's at Fulham, and say, listen, this is the money. We want you right now. You are a very good rotation player for Partey. You know what I mean? You may not be necessarily up there in the same level as Partey, but you're thereabouts. You're getting up there. And we've seen your performance. We want you. That's what you do. Sir Alex Ferguson used to do it all the time. When he used to go pinch Berbatov, when you'd go and get Wayne Rooney, when you go and get Van Persie, you know, you'd always go and get the best in the league. Yeah. Yes, we may not be able to go and prize away somebody like you know, Harry Kane from Tottenham, even though they don't win anything, and that club is not as big of a club as Arsenal. I understand that, Garamba, but go to Brighton and go get Caicedo. Go to Wolves and go get Pedro Neto. You think these players wouldn't rather play for Arsenal? Plus, they're going to get paid decently as well for playing for Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? And this is what we need to do. Of course, we're not going to go and get players from Chelsea. It's going to be a lot harder. It's harder to go to Liverpool and prize away players. Of course, I understand that. I understand that, because it's not just about wages. It's also, where are those clubs right now? What have they won recently? Where would they rather be in terms of reputation right now? As are they, you know, what is going on with the clubs? And what I mean is, what is going on with the clubs is they've been winning recently, major honours. We haven't been winning major honours recently. But Eze should be a given. Zaha should be a given. You know what I mean? These players should be, Ivan Toney should be a given. We should go there. Dare I say it, even Mitrovic. Go to Fulham, get Mitrovic. Because at the end of the day, you need different tools on the bench. You can't just have everyone cut in the same manner. Sometimes you need different players. Look at Man City. You know, look at they went and got a striker of a different ilk. They needed that. They went and got Haaland. Yes, we may not be able to get Haaland, but what I'm saying is, sometimes you need that. Sometimes, you know, if Gabriel Jesus ain't getting any luck, put in a Mitrovic, spam crosses. You know he's going to put it in the back of the net. You know if you start spamming crosses in that box, Mitrovic is going to put it in the back of the net. Go and get that done. And then go get Ivan Toney as well. That's in a very similar mode to Gabriel Jesus. Listen, I definitely would love to see Eze at Arsenal. I definitely rate this kid. Definitely 1,000,000% rate this kid. And I think he's a very, very good baller. A lot of people may look over him. I think sometimes there's a Premier League snobbiness that because he's not playing for you know, one of the big six, then, you know, people kind of look over. The same way, you know, we should be going to go in and get Tielemans. Tielemans shouldn't be a hard deal to get. You know what I mean? If people, a lot of Arsenal fans rate Fofana. I've heard a lot of Arsenal fans rate Fofana. We should go there and get him. You know what I'm saying? We should go and get players at certain clubs that it shouldn't be that hard. We don't always have to go and get a Fabio Vieira from the Portuguese league that is 6 leagues below this one, and he's going to need probably a lot of time to adjust, just even to the pace of the Premier League, let alone, you know, be tactically, you know, clued up into how Arsenal play and what the manager wants out of him. I don't know. I just think it's, you know, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You go and get a very good player, doing it at a smaller club. They don't need to adjust. And at the end of the day, he's young enough that he's project youth. And if he doesn't work, you can still get your money back. So I think it's a win-win. And it still falls in line with what Mikel Arteta, what the Cronkies, what Edu, what Vina is selling us on this project. So I would say go out and get Eze. That's what I'm going to say on it. And use the fact that he's a fan. He's a fan of the club, and he's at a team that can't compete with Arsenal. So why not go out and get him? I don't know. For me, it's a no-brainer. Definitely for me. I definitely take him at Arsenal. Let me know what you guys think. Another player that I mentioned, Arsenal need to find their very own water carrier. How about Moses Caicedo? Now, I would take Moses Caicedo. Would he be my first choice? Probably not. Probably not. But he's a good player. He's a good player from what I've seen of him at Brighton. And once again, another player that it shouldn't be that hard to go and get the deal done, caramba. It shouldn't. We should be able to go there and get this done, in my opinion. Decent player, fits Project Youth. Why not go out there and get him? Do you know what I mean? We definitely need to address the midfield, people. I'm not hearing no pukaria, but we don't need. We need to go out there and address the midfield. Let's keep it real. We need to. We haven't. Getting Fabio Vieira wasn't enough. We need more in this midfield. Because a lot of the players, away from our starting... Listen, I don't necessarily think Odegaard's that great. But so far, he's better than Fabio Vieira. Yeah, but that's not saying much at the moment. I don't really rate neither one of them. Granit Xhaka, Yes, he's been good this season, but at the same time, I know he wasn't the only player that wasn't that great against Leeds, but he went missing against Leeds. You know what I mean? It's mad, you know, and he reverted back to the same old Granit Xhaka, just the game just running past him. And we need rotation. I mean, if something happens to Granit Xhaka, as much as he's been up there with our best player this season, you still need rotation. There's suspensions, there's fatigue, there's all of that. You know what I mean? And if he has a dip in form, let's say he's gonna have a dip in form now. Let's just say you're gonna need someone to fill in that position. Who have we got? So listen, we need to go out there and consider some of these players, and we need to address the players that we're going for right now. I don't want to be in the transfer window and who we're gonna get? No. These men say, we heard it from Edu early on in the season before the window starts. We be scouting players for months and months and months before the transfer window opens. So I want to see what is the list of players and who we're going to go get. Because there's 11 positions, 10 or 11 positions that we need to fill. You can't tell me that we can go for another January transfer window and say that there's no player for any of those positions that we can fill. I'm not having that. You know, we need to, if they really believe in Arteta, then back him. I may not rate him, but if you believe in him, then back the man. And he needs some players. And I don't think that's even a debate. It is what it is, though. What's the next headline? Let's get into the next one. Arsenal gets a boost as Barcelona drops out of race for midfielder. Ruben Neves. Arsenal have been handed a transfer boost as a suitor has dropped out of the running for one of the targets. The Catalan are reconstructing their squad, and they want a new midfielder. However, in a boost to Arsenal's chance of signing him, reports are saying that the Catalans have withdrawn from the race. The report claims that Xavi prefers to sign a midfielder with a different characteristic from his. Now, at the end of the day, it's all rumors. All of these stuff is all rumors. We take it with a pinch of salt, but these are the things that are out there right now. Neves, I would take him. Do I think he's world class? No. Do I think that he would improve us? 100%. You know, 100%. He can play deep line midfielder or he can play CDM. He's definitely can ping a ball. He's definitely got vision. He's not just defensive. He's also good on the offensive. And I definitely think he's a good midfielder. Now, how much would they want for him? I'm not too sure how long he's got in his contract at Wolves. But like I said, this is another player that he just keeps going around in a transfer, you know, all the time. Arsenal are linked. Are we going for him? Are we not? If we're going in for him, then just go in for him. And don't wait for other clubs that may need a player in this position, start looking at him, and then all of a sudden we're in a transfer flipping saga of who's going to get Ruben Neves and who's not going to get him. If we're going to get him, go out there and get him. I do not want to hear no pucaria. I don't want to see us wasting the transfer window like January. I don't want to see us like the summer where we get 1-2 players and then we just rest and just waste time in the transfer window. We should be right now, Arsenal should be right now contacting Ruben Neves and saying, listen, before we go to the club, are you interested? How much do you and your agent want a week? What is it going to take for you to come to Arsenal? Are you interested in this project? Do you want to be in a club that is now at this moment in time in the title race? Dare I say it? We are. Mathematically, right now, we are. Will we be? Is another question, but we are right now. Do you want to be part of this project? Do you see where we're going? You know, from finishing 8th to now being in first place. Do you want to be part of this? And that's it. And get a feel for if the player is interested. And also, what would it take to prize them away from the club? We should be doing all that research once we've got a list of about 3 or 4 players in each position that we're interested in. We should be feeling out if they're interested in this project. What I feel a lot of times is Arsenal, we look at 1-2 players, think, okay, cool, that's what we're going to go in for. We don't know how much the player wants. We don't know how much the club wants. The window starts, and then we start all negotiation. No, start it before. Look at Chelsea with Nkunku. Look at how they already got it lined up for Nkunku to go to Chelsea. They've already got it lined up. They're already talking with the player, talking with the club, knowing what they need, knowing what negotiating now, even before the transfer window is open. They're already getting a feel for what it will take for Nkunku to go to Chelsea. Why can't Arsenal act the same? Why not? Why am I seeing Chelsea already have their targets? And that's what I want from this club. And if they do that, then I will say cool. If Arsenal go out and get what's necessary, then I'll say cool. You know, we're about 5-6 players away from really, really contending. Go out there, at least if you can land 4 or 5, you know, 4 or 5, at least go get 4 top quality players to add to this squad, because this has been a really good start to the season. Yeah. Put aside the fact that I don't think this manager can sustain it. I don't think that we have the squad. Yeah. This has been a very great start to the season. And if the club is not going to back Arteta now, when are they going to back him? Because if this is their guy, back him. Back him. Back him. There's no excuse. To be honest, he's overperforming with the players that he's got. He's overperforming. Nobody, even if yours Arteta expected us to be top of the league at this point. Yeah? So all I'm saying is this. I don't have to believe in this manager. I don't have to believe that this squad is good enough, because I'm going off of what I see, and I ain't a flip-flop, and what I've seen shows me that the squad isn't that great. But prove me wrong and show me that this club need to show fans like me that if you really believe in this guy, back him. That's all I'm saying. Back him. Back him. Because it makes no sense if you don't. Fabrizio Romano says he would love to see Premier League star play for Arsenal. He could be the perfect addition. And the player that he's on about, I think when I read it, I think it was Tielemans. Yeah, Tielemans. I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm sick and tired of this Tielemans story, to be completely honest with you guys. I'm completely sick and tired of it. Like, is he coming? Is he not? And this is what I'm talking about. These kind of sagas like this. Leicester need to sell. They're spending so much money on their training ground. They spent a lot of money last season on players that haven't hit the ground running. And what are we doing to take advantage of that? What are we doing? Are we looking at the player or are we not? It's always the same story. Arsenal are looking, but we're not looking. We're looking, but we're not looking. We're interested, but we're not going in for it. Like, go out there and get Tielemans. It's not a hard deal to do. Go out there and get it done, caramba. You know what I mean? Go out there and get it done. At the end of the day, Tielemans will improve our midfield. Like I said before, is he world class? No. Will he improve our midfield? Yes. Is he gettable? Yes. The player wants to leave. So go out and get it done. Go out there and get it done. That's all I got to say on the Tielemans. I'm actually tired. Tô cansado, caramba, of talking about you know, somebody like Tielemans, because that saga is just boring now. It's got to the point where it's boring now. Arsenal told they are 2 injuries away from disaster as one player is not good enough. Now, we've got this story here from Jamie O'Hara, ex-Tottenham midfielder. And he's warned Arsenal that they are not far away from a disaster. O'Hara was talking on TalkSport. He said they're 2 injuries away from disaster, though, in my opinion. I mean, if Gabriel Martinelli gets an injury, and if Gabriel Jesus, Jesus wasn't great yesterday, but he's still massively important. He said if he gets injured, Eddie Nketiah is not good enough to come and step in and carry on that title charge. So if they keep them 11 players fit, I think Martinelli, Granit Xhaka has been good, Odegaard, Saliba. If you can keep these fit, you are title contenders. If one of them gets injured, City have got the better squad. He continued, I don't think that it's going to be a walk in the park, that everyone's making it out, though, for Man City. I really don't. Arsenal are a good side. I said in October, October was a massive month for Arsenal. They had the North London derby, they had Liverpool, and they had Leeds away. Man City game obviously got postponed. Europa fixtures, Thursday nights. You're going to have to change and rotate the squad. But they've come through every game unscathed at the minute. So that says a lot about what Arteta is doing. And yeah, listen, it is what it is. But O'Hara also added, I'll put my bias aside. Arsenal got pumped. How Leeds didn't get anything from that game. They absolutely battered Arsenal. They really did. Listen, I didn't rate him as a footballer, O'Hara, and I didn't rate him as a midfielder. But at the end of the day, I don't think anyone can really deny that. I don't think anyone can really deny what he's saying. I think he's spot on. At the end of the day, we are about 2 to 3 injuries away from a disaster. If Ramsdale gets injured, Tina Turner, even though I think he was the man of the match against Bodo, it's Bodo. I don't think he's good enough to do as well as Ramsdale. Let's keep it real. Then when you're looking at Gabriel Jesus, we already know Nketiah, even coming on, even when he's performing in the Europa League, it's not good enough. He ain't performing. He ain't turning up. So if we need him to fill in for Premier League games as well, can he really do it? I don't think so. But is that a surprise? No. You know what I mean? If Thomas Partey, we've already seen, if Thomas Partey gets injured, that is another calamity as well. I've said it again, and I said it before, and I'll say it again, Caramba. The only decent rotation that we've got in this squad is Zinchenko and Tierney. Other than that, everything else isn't of the same level. It isn't. It's not good. It's not good enough. The level of rotation. Of course, we've got rotation, and you know the buzzword is, oh, they can do a job. Listen, Arsenal have been doing a job for 18, 19 years, and we ain't won no major honours. So at the end of the day, I don't care about players that can do a job. We can see that the bench ain't good enough, and when we've already seen it. I mean, we at the start of the season, we got a little glimpse to a lot of these players on the bench not being good enough with the result against Brentford. But we already knew that seasons ago. We already saw that. And then we saw it against Zurich. The only one that turned up was Marquinhos. We saw it against Man United, that nobody off the bench affected that game. We've seen it now. We saw it against Bodo, and we saw it against Leeds. That the players on the bench are not good enough. They are not good enough to help us. If those starting 11 players don't do their job, if Saka doesn't save us, if Gabriel doesn't save us, if Martinelli doesn't save us, if Odegaard, when he chooses to turn up, doesn't save us, if Xhaka doesn't continue his good form, everyone on the bench, they're dead weight. They are dead weight, and we need to address that. We need to address that. You know, hopefully we can keep up this form until January, but it is what it is, people. I don't even think that's a debate. Whether you love this regime, whether you don't, I don't even think that's even debatable, to be honest with you. It's just something that we need to do. Obviously, why is Arsenal versus Man City postponed? Rescheduling of this week's Premier League fixtures. Obviously, with the Queen's passing, we had to reschedule the PSV game. Obviously, we couldn't play Man City and play a Europa League fixture. So that is why, obviously, things have been postponed. I'm sure most of you guys already know that. So we've only got PSV, then we've got Southampton this weekend. So it is what it is. Maybe we missed the trick. Obviously, with Man City losing against Liverpool, maybe it was a good time to play them. Maybe it wasn't, but it is what it is. We got to be prepared for them whenever we come up against them, and that will be a massive test. A massive test. PSV is also going to be a massive test as well, because they're playing very, very well. They won their last Europa League fixture comfortably, so we need to turn up as well. And hopefully some of the players on the bench, actually turn up, because Reece Nelson, didn't really cover himself in glory in the last game. Marquinhos barely got any minutes. A lot of the bench players are just not turning up. Fabi Vieira, non-existent. This is what I've been saying about this guy. Not good enough. And you'd expect him to be able to at least, if not be able to perform in the Premier League yet, with the pace and the style of football, you'd at least want him to perform like that, to perform well against a poor Bodo side. But he didn't. So it is what it is, people. I'm gonna get into some of you guys' comments, see what you guys are saying, what your thoughts are. But yeah, it is what it is, man. PSV next on Thursday, I believe. We're playing PSV, and I'm expecting us to up our game, because we've dropped the standard, the mentality against Bodo. We dropped it against Leeds as well. We just about got away with it. We need to up our game defensively and on the break as well. We need to up our game. But let's get into some of the comments. Let's get into you guys' comments, see what you lot think. What's this here? Let's get here. Afternoon Northside. We'll find now. Sorry, let me reread that, because I didn't even read that right. Afternoon Northside will now find out how serious Arsenal are about success. No matter how much is offered, it should not be accepted. And Saliba should be signing a new contract. Let's wait and see. Exactly. Philip Sendros for rotation. Exactly. You know what I mean, bro? Like, big up Aussie Gooner. Exactly, man. We've had rotation. It's not about rotation and doing a job. We need quality. We have to stop the Wenger mistakes with contracts. 100%. 100%. We need to start. We need to start addressing, the fact that we're allowing too many players to run down to their last 2 years. We've already 2 years and about 8 months, 10 months. We should have already been talking to the players for contract renewals, especially players that are our best youngsters, Saliba, Saka, Martinelli. We need to tie them down, man. We need to tie them down. And this club came out before and they said that we're not going to allow players to run their contracts down to the last year. I hope and I pray that they hold up to their promise, because a lot of times, us fans, us in the chat, you lot, Tropa Elite, we hold the club to the high standards, to the promises that they make us. And the club make promises, and when the promises aren't fulfilled, a lot of fans take aim at fans like ourselves instead of taking aim at the club and what they've promised us. They promised us, we're not running contracts down, and I'm expecting them to sign the thing. Listen, I think that I don't see the club be able to, with how well Saliba's been, Saka, Martinelli, etc. I think we will, get them over the line, get the contracts over the line, get the renewals over the line, and sign them down. I don't see how this club could justify allowing their contracts to run down, to be honest. Remember, the media loves to report on Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, listen, we take all of these stories and rumors with a pinch of salt. That's what they are. They're rumors. Not the contracts. Obviously, the contracts aren't signed, but players being linked around Arsenal. And this is my thing. A lot of people come on and say, "Oh, Northside, why are you reporting on transfer rumors?" Listen, even if these are not the players we're going for, I'm still expecting us to go into the transfer window and address the fragilities of this squad and address the lack of rotation and quality. I don't care. Even if these players are not the players that are coming in, go out and get what is necessary. You know what I mean? You're right. If the owners care about money, will be spent in January. Otherwise, it will be top 4 trophy. Listen, let's see. It's time for them to show us. It's time for them to show us what they're about. This is their man. This is their process. This is their sporting director. This is their manager. Then support him. If that's the case, support him. Northside, you will be a grandfather before you see that club lift a trophy, bro. Listen. Hopefully not, bro. Hopefully not. Well, listen, I don't know. I don't know when Arsenal are going to lift another trophy. At the moment, I am enjoying. I think a lot of people are expecting me to be like over the top. I'm not over the top with how happy I am with how Arsenal are doing, because we didn't do what was necessary in the summer. If Arsenal had addressed the weaknesses in the squad and areas where we lacked quality, predominantly the midfield. Right now, with this form, I would be a lot happier. But the thing is, even though I'm happy with the fact that there's been improvements in the way that we play football, there's been improvements in the mentality, there has still not been improvement in the squad depth. And I don't think that's debatable. And that's what it is. January window, every player price is going to go up. Listen, prices go up any transfer window. You know what I mean? I would argue that, listen, it's just as hard in the summer to get players over as in January. Okay, listen, there's 2 different dilemmas that we have in 2 different transfer windows, in my opinion. In January, if it's a club that are performing really well and the squad itself is doing really well, of course they're not going to want to get rid of their best asset, because they want to finish the season strong. They want to still, if they're still in cup competitions, they want to see how far they can get in that cup competition. If they're in a Champions League spot, they want to uphold that Champions League spot. If not, try and go and win their league for whatever team we're talking about. So there's those reasons why it's hard to do business in January. But I would argue that in the summer transfer window, it's just as hard. In the summer transfer window, the prices go up because most teams, well, every club, they know that every club is rebuilding, which means that there's not only one team going in for their player, there's multiple interests, there's multiple clubs that want their player. So they're going to drive a hard bargain, because they're like, listen, everyone's rebuilding. If you want this player, we've got 3-4 other offers. We'll play all of you lot against each other, and we can have a little transfer saga. So it's never cheap in January. It's never cheap in the summer. Do you know what I mean? Unless you're going for a player that nobody really knows about and hasn't really hit the pinnacles and he's kind of under the radar. But it's kind of hard to get players that are under the radar right now. Every club has got great scouting networks. So I would argue this whole thing about, it's hard to sign players in January, it's the same in the summer. It's the same in the summer. In the summer, everyone's rebuilding, prices go up, teams try to put clubs up against each other. We saw it with Rafinha. Leeds tried to use the fact that Chelsea Arsenal and Barcelona all were interested in Rafinha. And the price just keep going up and up and up and up and up. Do you know what I mean? And that's what they do. They play these games. So there's no perfect transfer window. But one thing I can say is if we are serious, we are putting ourselves in a great position. Great position, overachieving by anyone's standard. I don't care if you're somebody that watches the channel and you're 100% behind Mikel Arteta. Nobody predicted us to be in this position. Now, will we be in this position come January? We're yet to see. We don't know. But my point is, you have to capitalize when you're in a strong position. You have to. We was in a strong position in last season in January to get top 4. We didn't address getting another striker in. We didn't address strengthening the midfield. We didn't address strengthening the defense. And what happened? We fell flat. We didn't address the fact that Martinelli and Saka are going to burn out towards the end of the season because they're playing every game in every competition. Do you know what I'm saying? And Saka's even playing international games. We didn't address that. And then we flopped getting top 4. Is this club going to do this and make the same mistake as we did last season? I don't want to see it. Like I said, for every reason I have to criticize, I always have a reasoning behind it. It's not just because, I want to say this about Arsenal. No. We've seen these mistakes, and I've not seen the fact that we've let January transfer window, we didn't do enough. The summer transfer window, we didn't do enough. I've never seen these windows that we throw away and we don't do what's necessary, and we allow this club to say there's no quality in the market and we don't want to panic buy. How about scout the players that you want, before the transfer window, enter the transfer window, e já está, caramba. Já está. That's it. You already got your dossier. You already got the list of players that you need. I'm not having it. I can't see other clubs addressing their weaknesses, and Arsenal it's hard to buy in January. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's what you're saying, Ozzy. I'm just giving my opinion based on, you saying that, price is going to go up in January. Prices go up in the summer as well. It is what it is. What's this? What's going on, Ozzy, man? Don't bite, bro. Don't bite. Chelsea, Australia coming for him, man. It is what it is. Northside wants Arsenal to be elite and wants Tielemans. Listen, at the end of the day, I want us to be elite. Is Arsenal in a position right now to get a Haaland and players of that ilk? I don't really think so. Yeah? So something, we got to start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I don't really understand. I think you are an Arsenal fan. It's crazy to me when an Arsenal fan as myself, I want us to win Champions League and I want us to win the league. People they kind of criticize that. Like, why are you an Arsenal fan? Are you an Arsenal fan to be top 4? Are you an Arsenal fan to just get behind a project and say, I'm behind a project? What is the purpose of you being a fan? Being a fan of a club, surely you want the best for the club. Wanting the best for the club is going for a league title. Now, I've said it before, even last transfer window, I said Tielemans ain't world class. I even said defensively, I feel like he leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah? But at the end of the day, can he strengthen the midfield? Yes, he can. It's not really that hard to understand. Can he strengthen this midfield? Yes, he can. So why not get him in? If there's nobody else, because apparently there's no quality in the market and this and that and players are overpriced, this guy's got a year left and he strengthens our midfield. So why not go out and get him? Listen, some people, they say I want to criticize. Then what's that? You know what I mean? Eze very similar to ESR. Listen, I'll take him, bro. The thing is, ESR is always injured. As much as I rate ESR, he's always injured. Always getting injured. I rate ESR. I think Emil Smith-Rowe has the ability to be a top player, but not if he continues down this road where he's always injured. Now, I don't know if it's his fault. I don't know if we're not managing his injuries properly. I don't know if we're bringing him back too early. I don't know what is going wrong. I don't know if our medical team isn't assessing him in the right way. But at the same time, he's too injured. He's too injury prone. So far, I hope he proves me wrong. Touch on wood. Listen, I hope he proves me wrong. But at the same time, when is he available? I don't know. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. What's this here? What's going on there? Edu needs to do his job. I'm getting pissed off with Edu more now. Edu doing absolute minimum, very underwhelming. Less jet ski and more work for Arsenal, Edu. Eddie Nketiah, 10 appearances, 0 goals. I wonder if the fans still think it was a good deal. Listen, they're just going to say, oh, well, you know, we're going to lose him for nothing. Protect his value, protect his value. That's going to be the same pucaria, the protect his value. Bruv, what value? What value is he bringing to this team? You know, at least in the minimum, perform in the Europa. We got rid of Pepe, yeah, out on loan. That guy, at least he sometimes performed in the Europa. This Eddie Nketiah, this is the group stages. This is the easiest time. This is the easiest games in the Europa. And my guy ain't even able to put up stats in the Europa. Like, come on, it's not good enough, man. It's not good enough. It really ain't. Big up Northside in the chat. Hope you're all good. Edu just better do his job in January window. Don't want to hear no more excuses. Exactly. Smash those likes up, people. Puta que pariu. I'm getting the chinelo out. I'm getting out the chinelo. Like and subscribe, yeah? Like and subscribe, caramba. Like and subscribe, yeah? But made me lift up the chinelo again. Made me have to lift up the flip-flop. You know what I mean? If a team is serious about fighting for their title, they wouldn't normally sell their best players. Football has become a farce, for fuck's sake. Listen, I don't think that we're looking to get rid of I don't think we're looking to get rid of our youngsters, but we're allowing them to be enticed by other teams that are right now able to compete for a league title. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the duration of the season, and that in recent years have won major honors. And players look into this. Don't think it's just fans like myself. Players look into this. They look into where teams going, what they've won recently, what's the ethics of that team, what they're about, X, Y, and Z. So at the end of the day, we need to get them signed over the line right now. PSG can match whatever wages we have. They're ready to compete for major honors now. Yeah, maybe some may argue not in the Champions League, but in their league, they're still winning titles. They're still winning cups. You know what I mean? That's what they can offer. And we can't, they're not a team like, you know, Wolves or Leicester or you know, teams like Brighton where we can outdo them in terms of wages. So we need to tie these players down. We need to tie these players down. And not only tie these players down, put even more belief in them. That, you know what, Arsenal are going to go out. You know what Arsenal are doing? We're going out and we're getting Ivan Toney. We're going to get a Mitrovic. We're going to go and get, you know, we're going to go and get an Eze. We're going to go and get a Zaha. We're going to go and get Pedro Neto. We're going to go and get Ruben Neves. We're going to go and get these players. Do you know what I mean? To look, we're not resting on our laurels. We're not thinking, oh, January, oh, we got to January. If we're still top of the league, our job's done. Don't worry. No, we're serious. We want to compete. We want to bring these major trophies back to Arsenal and to the fans. And we deserve it. And that's what I want to see, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up Northside. I'm gonna crash. Big up to you, bro. I don't even know what time it is over there, man. Hi, North London. Are you still Arteta out? Of course. I've already listen. I've said it time and time again. Listen, I've given praise. Let me start with the praise because people never really hear the praise. All they ever hear me say is, "Oh, you're being negative. Cala boca, cala boca." You know what I mean? I always give praise if I see praise. Mikel Arteta deserves praise for getting Arsenal in this position, top of the league right now. Mikel Arteta deserves praise for getting us playing better football. Mikel Arteta deserves praise. You know what I mean? For right now, at this moment in time, he is overachieving by what everyone thought he'd be doing right now. Yeah? But ultimately, you're judged at the end of the season. He didn't address what we needed to address in the summer. We're starting to see real rocky moments like Man United, like Bodo, like Leeds. And yes, some people are going to say to me, Northside, you can't always win nice. Sometimes you've got to win ugly. Yes. But what I'm not seeing is when the starting 11 players are dropping the ball, the bench players are not making themselves, you know, they're not giving the manager a headache. It's almost like they're comfortable. Rob Holding seems like he's comfortable to be back up. Reece Nelson seems comfortable to be back up. Nketiah seems comfortable to be back up. Fabio Vieira doesn't seem ready. That will catch up to us. That will catch up to us. For many seasons, many years, we've seen us not have a bench and it's cost us not winning a league title. We've seen it also with other clubs. We've seen Tottenham, yeah? For how great Tottenham have gassed themselves up. They've never had rotation. They've never had a bench. Now they've got a better bench. Yes, it's not complete, but they've got rotation in some areas. We can't say that because we don't have the quality in rotation. We don't. And I ultimately think that is going to catch up to us. Yeah. The only way I'm going to become Arteta in, and I will apologize, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, caramba. Get to the end of the season, get me in a title race to the depth, or win me the league, yeah, and I will change my tune about this manager. It is too early to be coming out with this. It is too early. And when people are saying, oh, but look at the position we're in. Look at the position we're in last season. And it was the same, very similar scenario. Last season, prime position to get top 4. We didn't have a good bench. We didn't buy the players that were necessary. And we fumbled. We fumbled when it was in our hands. This season, we're top of the league. Everything seems to be going good. We don't have the rotation. And we haven't addressed buying the players that we need. So, listen, everything I think is based on something. It's based on what I see. It's based on, do you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to bring it, getting it out of my ass and thinking, oh, I just want to be negative. No. The judgment of the manager doesn't finish now. You know what I mean? It doesn't finish in October. It's about how you finish in May. That is where you're judged. That is when you see most managers get the sack, when most managers the praise. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not even getting into that. Am I Arteta out? Yes, I am, because ultimately he's yet to show me that he's good enough to at least put this club in a title race. And I mean, and let me clarify. Title race isn't October or December or January, we're still top of the league. No, title race is still being in it until April, later stages of April, yeah, late April to early May. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about that is, to me, being a proper title charge. Yeah, not falling off at January, not falling off in February. That to me ain't a title charge. But that's just my opinion. The drop in quality is too significant between the first choice and the rotation players. So that's what I'm saying. And there's nothing wrong in saying that. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times people can't, like I said against the Leeds game, and I said this before. Everyone, oh, you're being negative. How am I being negative? At the end of the day, it was a crap performance. But the positive, we still dug in and we still got the win, which is ultimately the most important. But the thing is, when we're dropping performances, really bad performances against Bodo and then against Leeds, it is alarming. It is alarming, people. I find it alarming anyway. But it is what it is. I can't on one hand criticize Tottenham saying that them, not matching the result with the performance is going to catch up to them and then change my tune when it's to Arsenal. I think there's times when, yes, you need to grind out results. Of course. Even the great Invincible team had to sometimes grind out results. You know what I mean? I think that season, we weren't invincible. We got something like 10 draws. So, of course, there was games that we had to grind out. But the thing is, you can't consistently grind out. And also, this league has changed a lot. Obviously, when it was an Invincibles, you can grind out a draw. Jose Mourinho made his name of, if we don't lose, we at least grind out a draw. Nowadays, when you get Liverpool, before, in previous seasons, Liverpool and Man City going on 15, 16, 17 games stretches of wins. Draws ain't enough if you're going to be in the league, if you're competing for the league. And this is why a big reason why Jose dropped off. Because Jose, his game is, we pick up 3 points. We always try to pick up the 3 points. But if we can't pick up the 3 points, we get a draw. And the thing is, those draws now, you need wins. It's not the allowance of draws, with the amount of points that Man City and Liverpool have acquired in the last couple of seasons. Draws, you can't be drawing 10, 12, 13, 14 draws like we did in the Invincible era, because now Liverpool, Man City, especially Man City, have taken it to a next level where you need to be winning. They're picking up wins more times than they're drawing. So it is what it is. So this is what I'm saying. Yes, of course, sometimes the opposition doesn't allow you to play the game, of course, but I'm not expecting, even when we grind up results, I'm not expecting anything less than a 5 out of 10. Anything below that is now getting ridiculous. And I think against Leeds, overall performances by each player was, barring Saka and Ramsdale, was like 3 or 2 out of 10 for me. Poor from everyone. Do you know what I mean? Barring them two. Do you know what I'm saying? Saka gets a 6 only because he scored. And then he had little stages, but he kind of dwindled in that game. And the goalkeeper, Ramsdale, gets easily an 8 because he kept us in that game. You know what I mean? Man's getting slapped in the balls and everything. Like, it was mad. You know what I mean? Putting it all on the line. So look, at the end of the day, I've been saying, and this is the thing, yeah. Was I surprised with the defending at Leeds? I wasn't. Because when we won against Zurich, I've been saying that the defense has been shaky. When we won against Bodo, I've been saying that the defense has been shaky and making stupid mistakes. So when we do it against Leeds, I've been saying this, I've been seeing it. But what happens is every time I call out, I say, listen, I'm happy that we won, but the defending today was absolutely atrocious. Oh, no, side, why are you moaning? Why are you moaning, caramba? Yeah, this Filo da Puta is never happy. All he wants to do is complain. All he wants to do is moan. Oh, all he wants to do is come online and trash the club. Yeah, cool. But now everyone's seeing it now. So why is it okay when some people draw it out and say, oh, the defending's poor? But when I say it, it's like, oh, I'm just being negative. No, two things can exist. You can say, I'm glad of the result, but I'm not happy with the performance. And when you keep saying the same old performance in terms of defensively, it's okay to address that. Because the quicker that we address that, the longer we can go on this run. But the more we start making these mistakes, if we make these defensive mistakes against PSV that we did against Bodo, against Zurich, and against Leeds, we are going to get pammed. We are going to get slapped. If we do that, we got a lot of big teams dropping in the road. We're going to get slapped. Yeah? If we do that in the Premier League, if we continue to give teams that many chances, allow Bamford, B-Tech, Peter Crouch, that much opportunity and that much space to get his shot off and to score, we're gonna suffer. If we're allowing our centre backs to handball the ball like that, both of them, we're gonna get punished. If Saliba and Gabriel are allowing players to run off of them, if Ben White is being put in his ass and pushing up way too far when my guy knows he can't get back to defense, in time, we're going to get slapped up. If Tomiyasu keeps defending that, we're going to get slapped. If Thomas Partey doesn't also help the defense and be that shield that we've seen the majority of this season, we will get punished. There's nothing negative about it. It is a reality, and it is what it is. Listen, no one's ever going to bully me or you can debate me, but no one's going to bully me into saying something I don't want to say or something I don't believe. Like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. A lot of these players and a lot of this news that I see, I take it with a pinch of salt. I'm sick and tired of seeing Tielemans. I'm sick and tired of seeing a lot of that. I'm sick and tired, actually, of seeing that we need to sign certain players' contracts down. Like, just go out there and get it done, man. Just go out there and get it done, Arsenal. You know what I mean? Prove me wrong. I said it at the start of the season, this campaign was the prove me wrong campaign. So far, you're proving me wrong. Then continue, because I want to be wrong. Because if I'm wrong, I'm happy. Because if I'm wrong, Arsenal win the league. Do you know what I'm saying? So either way, I'm happy. If I'm right, then then we can just move on to a manager that can win us the league. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong about the manager, but my club wins the league. I don't really care. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't care. It's not that deep. It really ain't that deep. People think, Northside, say something now, look at this guy, I don't care. All I care is about Arsenal. Do you think I care about Arteta? I don't care about none of these people. Because Arsenal, I will still be supporting the Arsenal Football Club long after these players and long after this manager is here. Do you know what I'm saying? The club doesn't start or stop with these people. These people aren't the club. Us, the fans, are the club. We are the club. We stay here no matter what. When we're disappointed, when we're happy, when we're joyed, whatever. So I just wanted to clarify that, because a lot of people, Northside, Lee Gunner, Kenny Ken, this and that. Listen, we don't care, man. We don't care. All we want is this club to win major honours. And that is it. Listen, people, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Also, later on today, it's going to have to be a late one because Deji isn't available. We will be doing the Rivals show today. I will be putting that out soon. The Rivals show will be at 9:30. Today, as Deji is busy. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you're also notified every time I drop a video. I actually was supposed to put this video out yesterday, but it got too late. By the time I was going to do it, it was already like 7. I thought, I haven't even allowed people enough time to for it to come up on the notification and then the suggestions that I'm doing a video today. I'll just do it for tomorrow, and that's why it's for today. But listen, we're going to have the rival show, me and Deji. For anyone that's watching that doesn't know, he is a Tottenham fan. He's a Tottenham fan. So we'll be going over the Arsenal match. We're going over the Tottenham match. And yeah, we'll be having a little chat. Make sure you come and support the team. And yeah, tomorrow I will be on Tony Gunnar Claude TV channel for our weekly show. We'll do 1 week here on this channel and then 1 week on Tony Gunnar Claude TV's channel. So yeah, tomorrow make sure you're in for that. And yeah, man, it is what it is. It is what it is, people. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. Hit the dislike if you don't like the video, whatever. Help me with the algorithm. Leave a comment down below. And yeah, big up to all of you lot that always are in the chat, always supporting. Big up to all of you lot. I do really appreciate it. And we're out.